Doctor, another thing here, most of the time, like നമുക്ക് പലപ്പോഴും കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് parents complaining, kids are sitting and watching, all the time they are sitting and watching the TV. They don't do any other things.
I think parents are to take a major blame for that. What happens is when they are children, what they do, they put them in front of TV and go and do their household work. Okay. And later, suddenly when they are 11 or 12, they force these people to go out. This sort of thing should happen from childhood. They should be getting reasonable, healthy opportunities to engage with people of their own peer group. So you can't expect people to change from one day to the next. And change is always a gradual process. Let's say for some reason, lots of people are, I should say, from nuclear families, and it's not possible for them to get avenues to engage with people like in previous years. So what we should probably do is, if for some reason that has happened in 10 or 12, we should probably try to engage this child like in small areas of interest and in a gradual fashion over a few years. That happens over a few years. You can't expect the change to happen one day. A sort of evolution where they go from a person who is cloistered into the home to a person who is more open. But remember, that will require constant encouragement, constant effort, because till that point of time the child did not have any friends.
Okay, right, yeah. Okay. We'll see the next question,
Yeah.
Doctor.
My name is Sanath. I am from Alwa.
Okay.
I have a question. I try to study, but I can't. Please help me.
Especially in exam time, this is a very common phenomenon. Lot of children, lot of adolescents, lot of adults come with this complaint that I can't study, I can't remember things. Now, remember, the commonest reason for that is anxiety with regard to exams. When it comes to exam time, you have such a lot of portions remaining, you suddenly realize that you can't study or you cannot recollect things after you have studied. So remember, there is one very important thing you have to take in mind, that is, if you study once, your recollection rate is 30%. If you study 3 times, it becomes 80 to 90%, and 80 to 90% is the maximum sort of recollection normal human beings can have. So it is very important for you to do study once, then do a revision, and the third time is a sort of thing that you do in the day previous to exam, where you just flip around the books. That's more or less what you have to do. So unless you do that 3 times, you are likely to have problems there, and you can't expect yourself to study a whole book of economics in the day prior to exam. That's not going to be possible. Let's say for some reason you haven't studied well, okay, and you have an exam coming and you have to finish your exams. That time this sort of thing is not going to be practical, or is not going to be feasible. What do? You have to, my suggestion is, you have to read the most important questions. Take a selection. It's not the right thing to say, but lots of students have these problems. So you take maybe last 5 years of university questions, okay, and then mark out the selections. And what you do, you study that once, study that twice. And if you're anxious, please don't try to recollect. You should not try to recollect if you become anxious, because when you recollect, you'll suddenly realize, oh my God, I can't recollect the whole thing, and then your heart starts beating, pat 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 pat. And the next question you read, your retention rate will be far less, because you're reading it with the basic anxiety, thinking I can't finish it. And the third question you will not be able to read. So if you're anxious, please don't try to recollect. When you come to examinations, definitely when you sit there, you will be able to write a lot of things, lot more than what you perceive. So if you're anxious, if you're studying well also, don't try recollection. That's not going to be a sort of healthy thing to do. Okay.
Doctor, many times we have seen like students, they do perform well in written exams, but during Viva they'll be like so much stressed.
Yeah, that's very, very common. Especially a lot of people who study well have this problem of answering when it comes to Viva, where they are asked even simple questions, they struggle. What they should realize is probably that they have a performance anxiety, and that should be dealt in a slightly different fashion. They should probably learn relaxation so that they relax well. And secondly, they should remember when they go there, they should not try to answer immediately or rush to the answers, but take their time, understand what the question is, understand the chapter from the question is asked, then understand which paragraph or which area it comes, and try to think in that fashion. Don't jump into a position. You think, okay, this comes from the biochemistry book, and that comes from chapter 3 of the biochemistry book, and that's inorganic part, and that talks about sodium. So you talk about sodium, and then you go down to the paragraph, and we think through the process. Maybe there's a delay in you answering the question, but the answer will be definitely around that point. Yeah. And most importantly, you should probably learn to relax, and the relaxation is something that you can learn by doing yoga or something. That's something that you should practice on a long term. It is not something that you can do in the morning of the exam and get a good result in the evening.
I think even when they don't know the answer also, they try to guess or they try to bluff, I believe. Right?
Yeah, that's very common, and I should
And
say
they'll usually get into more problems.
that's okay, but at some level you should also learn to bluff. But you should learn to bluff intelligently. In the sense, you should try
Way to bluff, right?
yeah, way to bluff and way not to bluff. And if you really know that it comes from one area, then you should try to intelligently find out. If you have not heard the term at all, it makes sense for you to actually say, I don't know. Okay, but if you know that it's somewhere there, I've read it, I know it, it is there, it could be probably this, then you should try to attempt to answer the question. Okay.
Okay, doctor.